Hi, I'm Greg Murray. In 2016, I made a tutorial on the use of Adobe Audition CS6. Well, now in 2022, it's time to make an update.
If I can do this, you can do this.
That's my grandson, Shay. He thinks he knows everything. Okay, let's get to it. With over 40 years of commercial radio broadcasting, I've done a lot of audio editing. Started out with reel-to-reels, with reel tape and splicing tape and grease pencils and splicing blocks and leader tape and very expensive heavy-duty reel-to-reel machines. We no longer do that anymore. Now we have computers and computer software. Now this is Adobe Audition. I'm using CS6. There were so many different versions that we have a choice to work with now. There are even free versions of editing programs. But when we first started out into the computer world of editing, we used Cool Edit Pro 2.0. That was an incredible piece of software. It was awesome. And then Adobe bought it. And then Adobe released it at 1.5, and it was so full of bugs and problems, nobody really wanted to use it, so they went back to using Cool Edit Pro 2.0. After Adobe released Adobe Audition 2.0, people went back to Adobe Audition, and it was really good. And it featured a lot of things that Cool Edit Pro didn't have. It was like Cool Edit Pro on steroids. It was awesome. Then they opened up with Adobe Audition 3.0. Then 3.0 went to CS6. Now, all of the prior versions, CS6, 3.0, 2.0, 1.5, and Cool Edit Pro 2.0, those were all buyout programs. Now, there's Adobe Audition Creative Cloud, and that is not a buyout program. You can buy it by the month or by the year, but you can't buy it and own it like you can CS6, which is what I use. I use Adobe Audition CS6. Now, this is Adobe CS6. And what I want to do here is change this up a little bit because there are some things in here that we really don't need. Things in this area, for example, we're going to take this out. We don't need this. So let's go to this little point right here, click on that little emblem, and then click on Close Frame. That got rid of that. Let's do it again right here. Let's click on Close Frame. Now this is what we really need right here. But there's one more thing that we need in this screen that we don't have, and we want to put it there. And that is over in this corner is blank. So we're going to put something there that we're going to use later. We'll go to Windows and we'll go all the way down here to Metadata. Click on that. And now all of a sudden we have the metadata right here. Next, let's set up our keyboard shortcuts. They will be immensely important later on. Okay, here in the top left corner, you'll find Edit. Click on Edit, then go down to Keyboard Shortcuts. From here, click on the arrow for Effects. Scroll down until you get to Normalize. See Normalize here. You'll have a blank spot here. Click on that spot and then click Add. Now you can use any keyboard shortcut that you would like for this. I personally use Control Plus for Normalize. For the noise reduction, I click on it, click Add, and I click Control Alt P. And then for multiband compressor, I click Add, and I use Control ? or /. After this, just click OK. Now let's go to the bottom center while I explain the transport. And this is your transport here. This is for stop or spacebar. This is for play or spacebar. This is for pause or Control-Shift-Space. This is for move playhead to previous position or Control left arrow. This is for rewind. This is for fast forward. This is for move playhead to next position or Control right arrow. And this is your record button or shift space. This is for loop playback or Control L. And this for skip section. So now let's go back up to the top left of the program and then really get to the good nitty gritty. This is where all the action happens right here. Now, let's say that there's something on your hard drive that you want to edit. Well, this is how you find it. You open files with this icon. Go find wherever it is on your computer that your file is and click open. Or you can click on this icon to import a file. We'll talk about the differences in a moment. But you can import a file using this one and click open. And there's one more. Click here on this icon for a new multi-track session, new audio file, or new CD layout. Yes, with this program, you can make CDs. Let's go back to the bottom so that I can show you some things that I forgot to show you earlier. So let's go here now. Here in the center, you see this area here? This is your timer. Over here are different icons, tools that you may or may not use. I personally do not use these tools. This here on the bottom is your VU meter or levels. Some people don't care about levels, but I can tell you with 40 years of radio broadcasting experience that levels are very, very important. Never, ever record something in the red. If you do, it'll distort. If you get a distorted signal, you're stuck with it. You can't change it. You can't fix it unless you re-record it. So if you always record at a lower level and you need it to be louder later, you can do that later using Normalize. But remember, never record a distorted signal. Before we start recording, let's go back up to the top left and go over some of the menu items. Here we have File. Under File, you have New. Here you would build a new multi-track session or a new audio file or a new CD layout. It's the very same as this item. Also under File are extract audio from CD. Let's say that you have a CD in your player, in your CD-ROM tray. You can click here and import or extract the audio from the CD into Adobe Audition. Under Edit, you'll find a number of items that are useful. I don't use a lot of things here, but we used this keyboard shortcut to build our keyboard shortcuts, remember? Okay, now we're set and ready to record. But there's one more thing. We have to identify our audio hardware so that we have audio going in and audio coming out of the computer. In order to do that, we need to go to the hardware processor. So let's go to Edit, Preferences, Audio Hardware. Under here, we set up my microphone is set to my Rodecaster Pro, and my speakers are set to Rodecaster Pro as well. Yours, you have to know what your audio hardware is in order to set this up. Continuing on, we leave the latency where it is, and my sample rate I could set to 48 Hertz because my Rodecaster Pro will broadcast at 48 Hertz, which is the best quality for this Rodecaster, or we can leave it at 44-100, which is compatible with CDs. I'll just leave it there and click OK. Now I'm ready to record. By clicking the record button, I'll need to name this. So I'll name it Test 3. My sample rate is at 44-100. My channels are set to stereo, and my bit depth is at 32 float. Just click OK. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. I have my air conditioners running in the background, and you probably can hear my grandson talking to his grandmother in the background. I'll take all that out simply. I press my stop button by pressing the space bar on my keyboard. Now let's play this back. Now I could fumble around with a mouse trying to find the cursor and click the play button on the transport, or I could simply press the space bar. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. I'll press the space bar again to stop it. Now let's do some editing. Let's go to the beginning and listen to this. Hear that noise? I don't want that noise. And that noise is throughout the entire recording. So in order to eliminate that noise, I have used the left mouse button and I've highlighted the area of noise. Now I could go to Effects noise reduction again, and do it from here. Or I could just simply press Control-Alt-P and it takes me to the same place a lot faster. Now I've already identified the noise print. So now we'll click here, capture noise print. Here's your noise print. In order to eliminate the noise print from everything in the recording, we press select entire file. Notice everything got highlighted, and now we click apply. And now the noise print is gone. By clicking the home button, I get to the beginning of the recording. Now press the space bar to play it back. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. Okay, I stopped the recording by pressing the space bar. So you notice the noise is gone, and I don't need anything else in this recording. So I'll hold my left mouse button down and go all the way across to the top and then hit delete. And that's what I'm left with. I go home, press the space bar, and now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. Now I heard something there on the record button that I don't like. So it's right here. So that breath, I don't want that breath. So I'll hold down my left mouse button and let go at the end of this part that I don't want. I don't want that. So here I'll right click inside the highlighted area. Go down and left click on silence. And now it's gone. So now I'll go to home, press the space bar and play it back. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. So now if I want to, I could take this piece of space of recording and hit delete. It'll close that gap a little bit. I'll do the same here. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. So that's my recording. But I want to make it more dynamic. So what do? I put my cursor inside this area, left click one time to put the cursor there. And now I just Control A, select all. So I wanted to normalize and I wanted to go the long way. Effects, amplitude and compression, normalize. Or I can just simply Control plus. And that brings me here. Now in here, I want to make sure every one of these three boxes is checked. And I don't normally use 100%. When you first open this program, it will automatically set your normalize to 100%. I never use 100% because if you use 100%, it gives you the opportunity to have distortion. I don't want distortion, so I put it to 90%. You're not going to lose that 10% headroom. So with that 90%, I click OK, or I hit the enter button. I'm done. Now what I want to do is save what I've done. So I could go to File, Save As, tell it where I want to save, or I can just on my keyboard click Control-Shift-S, which is Save As. And now the name that I wanted to give it was Test 3. And you notice that's a WAV file. WAV files are the best possible sounding files you can have. The problem with it is that it takes up so much space on your hard drive that if you use MP3 instead, set to a very high quality, it's going to be virtually the same sound that you get from a WAV file, only it won't use as much space to save it. So I have over 70,000 titles on my hard drive of songs, but those songs are all MP3s. If it was 70,000 songs in waveform, I wouldn't have enough hard drive space to accommodate them. So I use MP3s. So here, I want to tell it where I want to save it. So here I press browse. And for now, I'll put it in music and then click save. You'll notice that it still has more information to give it. So I want to change the format to MP3 audio. It may not be there for you. So we'll go to change and click here. Make sure it's constant, not variable. And then click this down arrow and go all the way down to the highest possible quality and click OK. Now we're ready to go. It was ready to save it. I'll click OK, and now this is my recording that I just saved. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. That's my recording. Now if I wanted to add some music to it or a sound effect, like for example, let's say I want to add a sound effect to it. So we go up here and we click on multi-track. Want to give it a name. We'll say test 3. And we click OK. This file here is for the multi-track saving. This file here is the MP3 we just made. We'll put it up here. Go to the top and drag it all the way over to the left and then press play. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. I stop it with my space bar. And now I want to add something to it. Earlier we were talking about importing something. Remember that? Well, we'll go here and we'll import a file from my hard drive. Let's go down here and find sound effects. Move this over so I can see what I'm working with. And I will use this TXS sound effect. Click here and click open. So now I drag this into play and then I move this around. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. Notice you could barely hear my voice there. So what I want to do is I want to stop this and I want to adjust the audio volume for the noise that's louder than my voice. Now there are two ways to do this. One, you can do it here at the beginning of the track by clicking here and say -10, enter. Now I just said -10, enter. Now that will take away 10% of everything on this track ever. So that means if I were to have 100 other things on this track, they would all be -2. I'm sorry, they would all be -10. I don't want that. Instead, I want to make this 0 and I want to drop my volume here. Take it here and drop it down to about there and play it again, but I'll put the cursor here so we don't have to listen so long. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. A lot better. We can make it even better by dragging this down a little more. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. But I want to do more. So before saving it, I want to go back to multi-track and I want to add some music in there. This time, I'll just pull something out of my hard drive. So I'll go here and I'll grab Coop. Coop sounds like this. Okay, that's what I've got. So now I'll go back to multi-track and I'll bring in Coop, which is right here. And I'll put Coop right here. So it starts right there and it sounds like this. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. It works for me. Let's say I want it to end right there, right? So I go to the top and bring this all the way over until I get to the bottom of this. I get to the back of this audio. I just use my left mouse button and I bring it over. And I go back up here and bring this in so I can see it better. As you can see, they don't line up. So I grab this with my mouse again when it turns red, like I do second, like a horseshoe, like a red horseshoe, and bring it to the end of the recording here. Now they line up, but I want this to fade out. So with this little box right here, I tell it to fade out by dragging it like this. So now, and now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. Now that my multi-track project is finished, it's time now for the final mixdown. And I do that simply by coming to multi-track, mixdown session, to a new file, entire session, and it's done for me. Now that that's done, we want to be sure to put in all of our metadata. The name of this was Test 3. I am the author, and I will put this in my collection. Today's date. The genre would be voiceover. And that's all I really need to put in metadata. So now I'm ready to save it. But before I save it, I want to normalize it. Simply Control plus, and then Control/Enter. Now it sounds like this. And now I'm recording. So now I'm going to record something to edit later. I'm happy with that. So with that, I'll go to Control-Shift-S, meaning save as. Then I'll make this. I'll name it here. I can tell it what I want it to be named. I'll name this intro. And I will place it in music, which is already set. And I'll make it an MP3. I'll leave it at 44,100 hertz at 32-bit. And I'll leave it at MP3 320 kilobits per second continuous bit rate. And then I'll click OK. If you like what you saw, please click the like button and subscribe. So the next time I put up a video, you'll get it in notification form as soon as I put it up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.